Hi, everyone. Welcome to DevRunner. My name is Paul, and this is Subscriber Spotlight, where I have conversations with inspiring runners to motivate you on your running journey. My guest today is an amazingly talented runner and YouTube host hailing from the United Kingdom. He's been documenting his adventures, breakfasts, and running experiences since 2016, and as a regular viewer, I've thoroughly enjoyed all of it. I'm really looking forward to this conversation. So without further ado, I'm pleased to introduce Ben Felton, host of Ben is Running. Thank you for being here today, Ben. It's really a pleasure to have you here.
No problem. Nice to be on.
Yeah, I mean, I've been looking forward to this. I've just been watching your channel, explode in popularity, and I think it's so well deserved. So thank you for joining me.
Oh, no problem. Yeah, thank you very much. It's been going really well the last few months. I quit my chef job actually a few months ago now, and I've sort of been making content here on YouTube now for 2 months now as a sort of full-time job, if you like. And yeah, it's gone really well. The channel is growing well and views are good, so yeah, long may it continue.
Yeah, I mean, that's great. I love that, because I think you're so motivational and you keep me inspired. I'll tell you what, as I try to push my limits, it's always nice to look to you and see how you're doing exactly the same thing. So before we get too deep into some more specific questions about your running, I'm hoping that maybe you can just share a little bit of a bio. Tell people who you are, where you're from, and anything else that you want people to know about you up front.
Yeah, no problem. My name is Ben. I'm from the UK. I live in, I'm from a little town called Colchester, which is about an hour from London. In terms of my running journey, if you like, I've not really been a runner for that long. I started running in sort of 2019 properly when I left university. I moved to Stockholm with my girlfriend, and I joined a running club over there, and that's where the running sort of started. So I'm fairly new to the sport. Only really been doing it, I'd say, properly for 2 or 3 years. But I've always had an interest in running and sports. I'm the sort of guy at school who was pretty good at most sports, but never really excellent at any of them. I did a lot of football, but yeah, running ended up being my main sport, and I'm really enjoying it so far.
That's amazing. That's amazing that you've only been at it for 3 years, and you're just a natural talent. That's incredible.
Thank you.
So I'd like to just dig a little bit deeper about your athletic background in general. Like you said, you used to be a footballer, but like kind of talk about how you made that transition. What actually got you interested in running in the first place?
Yeah. So yeah, when I was at school, so up until about 16, I played football regularly for my local Sunday league team. And yeah, it was just what I did as a kid. I played centre back. I wasn't really the best footballer, but I was fairly fit and fast, so that role sort of suited me well. I wasn't really the best with the ball in possession, but I could tackle and I could track back and that sort of thing. So yeah, I fitted into my team pretty well. And I was always sort of known as sort of the fittest guy or the fastest or the most endurance-based guy in the team. So whenever it came to any endurance-based activities, say in training, yeah, that was where I could sort of show my strengths. It wasn't really when I had the ball at my feet that I was any good. But yeah, the football sort of fizzled out as I went to university. I still played sort of five-a-side football, or soccer in the US, you call it, just with my friends as sort of a social thing. Then I got into going to the gym quite a lot. So this is now in my late teens, so as 18, 19-year-old, I sort of got quite heavily into going to the gym with my friend Louis. Yeah, he was my gym buddy, and we went pretty much every day. So I sort of got used to regular training, but it was more weight training based. And a typical teenager, we were just trying to build muscle, look good, that sort of thing. And we ended up putting on a fair bit of muscle, but I didn't necessarily feel healthy when I was doing it. We were sort of eating not very clean. We were trying to put on muscle mass. And when I was still playing football at the time, I was starting to feel that I was getting stronger in the gym, but I wasn't necessarily feeling fitter on the football pitch. And that's when I started sort of doing some more cardio stuff. So here in the UK, we have park run. I don't know if you have that in America.
There's a couple of cities now that are starting to pick it up, but generally speaking, no, not really. But
Right.
I'm completely aware of it, and I just wish we
Yeah.
had more of it here.
Yeah, so those of you who don't know what parkrun is, it's like a 5K weekly a thing that occurs pretty much in every little town here in the UK. So I've probably got around 30 to 40 parkruns within about an hour's drive of my house,
Awesome.
which is incredible. So I started going to parkruns as sort of just a way of keeping my cardiovascular fitness up while I was doing the gym stuff, and yeah, realised that the running was what I really was passionate about. And I started doing it more and more. It started with maybe 2 or 3 runs a week, and I would see my 5K time improve slightly because I would do a park run every Saturday morning. And then it just spiraled from there. Really, I just sort of slowly stopped doing the gym stuff because I just wasn't enjoying it as much, and just transitioned into training probably 5 or 6 times a week with running. So yeah, that's sort of a bit about my athletic background, if you like.
Gotcha. So it was a very natural progression then. So
Yeah.
that's always nice to hear. So I'm going to start asking you some questions a little bit more about your running career, even though you've only been at it for a few years now.
Yeah, no problem.
I'm just kind of curious about what you consider the highlights of your running career. And I'm not necessarily kind of asking you to rattle off all of your PBs or anything like that.
Yeah.
Just any, even if it's just training, like whatever has the most meaning for you is what I'm interested in hearing from.
Yeah. So probably my biggest achievement would be from where I started to the progress that I've made now. And like I said, it started with 5Ks, so park run. So I've always found myself as sort of a 5K runner. And when I first did them, so maybe the start of 2019, I was around 28 minutes for 5K. So nothing special. I wasn't terrible. I had some natural talent there, and quickly with the training, I sort of progressed up to quite close to that 20-minute barrier. I sort of took 8 minutes off my 5K time fairly quickly within about 6 months of training.
Wow.
Yeah, so I made quite a big progress. It was mainly from sort of transitioning from the gym stuff to running more. So I lost a little bit of weight, mainly from the lack of like losing some of the muscle that I've been building up, and yeah, just generally getting more healthy and eating healthier. So my biggest achievement would probably be my progression in the 5K, and yeah, my 5K is now just under 16 minutes. So I've gone from 28 minutes to 16 minutes, which is quite a big progression.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm hoping to continue that progression. I want to try and push closer to that 15-minute mark, maybe next year or in the next few years. That's where I'd like to see myself as a 5K runner, is around that 15-minute mark. In terms of my biggest achievement, probably this year would be, I also like to do events that sort of push my what I think is capable. So I did a 50-kilometer ultra marathon this year, which was quite a way away from the 5K races that I'm used to. So a lot of training, and on the day, basically, it didn't quite go to plan. I had some stomach issues at around the 25K mark, or 30 kilometers, I think. And I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to finish the event, but my family was there on the day, and a few of the volunteers along the course were like, you can't quit here now, you've come so far. And I had to walk maybe the last 5-10 kilometers, I think it was, of the event. But yeah, I got it done, and I was really happy with just finishing the 50K, really.
Gotcha. I mean, that's a huge accomplishment. I've never been that far myself. I'm kind of like a marathon guy myself, and I keep telling all of my viewers that eventually I'm going to get there and I'm going to start doing ultras. But I feel like I've still got more road speed in me, so I'm going to kind of try to max that out first. But and that kind of leads me naturally. I just kind of want to ask a little side question here. Do you plan on like sort of visiting the different distances that come between 5K and ultra marathoning?
Yeah, definitely. So I started with more 5Ks. I've done some half marathons more recently, and I'm starting to enjoy, especially the training for the longer stuff. I seem to enjoy that the longer runs, the longer tempo stuff, much more than I do the short, sharp stuff, say track workouts and things like that. So in terms of my enjoyment with running, I definitely tend to prefer the longer stuff. So yeah, I at the moment, I'm enjoying the 5K distance is my main sort of race distance, but I definitely want to transition towards more half marathons and marathons. I think I'm going to do my first marathon next year, just to see how I get on with that sort of distance. Obviously, it'll be completely different training for me.
Yeah.
Really excited to give that a go.
That's really exciting to hear, because I know, I mean, having seen your performances on those 5K races, for so long now on your channel, I just can't wait to see the kind of times you're going to post on 10Ks and half marathons and even the marathon. It's just going to be very exciting to follow along with. So
I'm looking forward to it.
That's so cool. So, all right, with that, I want to transition a little bit into talking a little bit about your YouTube presence. I'm just kind of wondering, and we'll talk about sort of the progression and the pivoting of your YouTube channel in a little bit. But first, I just want to know what motivated you to start on YouTube in the first place.
Yeah, that's really interesting, actually. I started on YouTube making videos when I was at university. So about uni life, life in the city I lived. I went to the University of East Anglia, which is in Norwich for those in the UK. And I just documented my sort of journey at university, shared some key events that we did as a flat and that sort of thing, and it just came quite naturally, just documenting. And then obviously university came to an end after 3 years, and sort of I stopped making that sort of lifestyle content, and that's when I really got into running in a big way. So I took maybe a year between sort of the university content and then transitioning to running. So my YouTube channel, a lot of people don't know this, used to be called Ben Felton Vlogs. It was just a vlogging channel. And about 9 months ago, I changed the channel to Ben is Running. And since then I've been uploading just really running related content. I share a little bit of other stuff, life stuff. You said in the intro, making my breakfast, that sort of stuff. But yes, my YouTube channel has transitioned from sort of university living to now, my running. So
Gotcha. And one thing before I forget, Ben, I want to thank you, because after a lifetime for me of sort of giving up on the poached egg, thanks to you, I now know how to make poached eggs that actually work, that don't just explode all over the pot. So thank you for that.
Yeah, if anyone's hasn't seen the top tip on poaching an egg, the key is to put it in the water when the egg is still in the shell, just for 10-20 seconds. It sort of hardens the egg inside, so when you crack it, it doesn't just split everywhere.
Exactly.
And my previous sort of occupation was a chef, so I picked up tips and tricks like that along the way.
That's awesome. And again, thank you for that, because you've made such a huge difference to my life. But with that said, I think you've kind of already explained this, but I'm just kind of wondering, how did you know, even though you developed your passion for running along the way, did you know immediately, like when you started excelling at running, that you wanted to extend that into YouTube, or was that something that you had to consider for a while?
So with my running, I sort of, when I was a really young kid, maybe 10, 11, I did a lot of running at that stage. So when I say I've only been a runner for 3 years, I used to do running when I was a kid, but I stopped running after I did cross country when I was younger, and was quite good at my school level. And then I went to sort of a county level, so not quite national, but the one below. And I ended up not really having the best experience, just didn't really enjoy the pressures that came with it. And in one race, I ended up pushing myself a little bit too far and ended up a little bit ill at the end. So I didn't have a great sort of experience with running as a kid. So that's why I started playing football more. But then as I got older and then I started doing the park runs again, I realized that that's where I did used to enjoy it, and I started to enjoy it again. And then sort of the YouTube stuff sort of just came naturally. I was already making YouTube videos, and then the running came along, and they just sort of met up quite well, because obviously started watching more YouTube related content on running, and thought, maybe I'd give it a go myself.
That's great to hear. Because your presence on YouTube as a running vlogger, is wonderful. I mean, there's a reason why you're growing as fast as your channel is growing, because you come across very naturally, very enthusiastically, and it's really nice, especially for other runners like myself who are, you know, it gets to be a little bit of a grind out there day after day, and it's always nice
Yeah.
to tune into you, and there's always that smiling face, and there's always that upbeat attitude. So
Yeah.
keep on going. I'm very
Thank you
excited
very
that
much.
the fact that you're pursuing it full time now is very exciting for me, because I'm looking forward to your content. So
Thank you.
with that said, sir, I want to ask you, what motivates you now? What are your future goals in general, as well as just for YouTube?
Yeah, so I'm motivated like most runners in setting targets and trying to achieve those goals. Um, I really like the process of running, where you can sort of put in all the training, and then it comes to race day and you get to find out, has it paid off. Some days it will pay off and you'll get the result you want to, and other days you don't. So yeah, just really enjoy the process of getting out there and seeing what you can really be capable of. And on YouTube, my sort of motto has been aspire to run to inspire. And I just aspire to be a better runner myself, and hope to share the process, and try and inspire other people to get into the sport that I've grown to love over the last few years.
I'm glad to hear you say that, because that's, as I said before, that's exactly what you're doing. You keep me inspired, and I'm sure there are a lot of new runners out there who are learning a ton from you as well. So
Oh, great. Thank you.
I'm glad to hear that. I want to ask you, Ben, a little bit of a kind of a left field question here.
Yeah, no problem.
Trying to get some original content here that maybe nobody else has dug into before with you. And so I would like you to share with the viewers something they might not already know about you.
Yeah, something that they don't already know is that before I started making the running related content, I've probably got about maybe 100 videos on YouTube that are completely unrelated to running. So yeah, people can go and watch those if they want to. They're completely different, like I said, and yeah, that's something that people don't really know.
Yeah, gotcha. I was surprised at how much content there was when I was checking out the backlog. You know,
Yeah,
it's just like, wow, so much cool stuff here. It's a great way to get to know you better. So everybody go check that out.
great. Thank
Let's see, what else did I want to ask you? This is kind of I suppose, a deep philosophical question, as deep as I run anyway.
you.
I'm wondering if you can share how running has changed your life for the better.
How has it changed my life for the better? It's just basically become my daily routine. I really enjoy getting out of the house and exploring new places. Another sort of aspect of the channel that I want to explore more in the future is traveling. I want to do some more like big city marathons. Maybe next year I'll do some more traveling. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to doing that on the channel. What was the question again? I've forgotten, sorry.
Oh yeah, just in general, how has running changed your life for the better?
Oh yes, and just the mental health benefits of it. Just like I said, getting out every day, well, pretty much every day for me now, and getting that fresh air has been really beneficial to me, and I know it's really beneficial to other runners as well. So yeah, that's probably one of the biggest benefits I've seen from doing it.
That's great. That's awesome. And let's see. This can kind of grow out of what you just said, but I want to give you the opportunity to share what you consider a favorite piece of advice for other runners and for other YouTubers as well.
Yeah, so my main piece of advice for running and YouTube sort of can go hand in hand is consistency. So one thing I've learned is no one workout will sort of or make or break your race result. So it's weeks of consistency that sort of lead up to that achievement. And the same can be said on YouTube. It's quite often that many people start YouTube, they make a few videos and it doesn't really go anywhere. And that was exactly the same with my channel. The first few videos I uploaded barely got 30, 40 views, something like that. But it was never really about that for me. So yeah, I just stayed consistent with it, continued to upload, and that's what I try to do at the moment. 3 or 4 videos a week is what I would advise. The same with running. The more you run, the better you're gonna get at it. The more videos you make, the hopefully the more popular your channel will become. And yeah, you've just got to stay consistent with both running and YouTube, and hopefully the progress and achievements will come with that.
Yeah, I appreciate that advice. I think that's great advice, and I found the same thing myself, both in running and with YouTube. So I'm glad to hear. I'm glad to hear you say that. With that, Ben, I really want to thank you for stopping by and having this conversation with me. It's been one of those things where I kind of feel like I already know you because I watch everything you put out. But you know, it's nice to get the opportunity to talk to you, and I think you're a great guy. And I want to encourage everybody who's watching this to head over to your channel, check out your videos. I want them to subscribe because there's a lot to learn from Ben. So head on over there, you won't regret it. And with that in mind, Ben, I want to give you the opportunity to share all of the different places on social media that people can find you.
Oh, great. Yeah. So my main sort of platform is here on YouTube, Ben is Running, and that's the same on Instagram. I post some content over there as well, which is the same handle, Ben is Running again. But yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure being on here today. Just want to say a big thank you for having me on. And hopefully, yeah, we've had a lovely conversation. So thank you.
Yeah, well, again, thank you for being here. And everything that you just said about your social media, I will share in the show notes below, so people can get there very easily. So again, Ben, enjoy the rest of your week, and thank you so much for being here.
Thank you very much.
All right, bye-bye.